Welcome to Gamer Station's Browser Games of the Week for the week of March 5th. And I'm your host, as always, Steven SnakeYukin Lindsey. Starting off our countdown this week at number 10, Must Escape the Castle. While I like point-and-click games a lot, I'm usually not the biggest fan of the browser-based ones because they're kind of bland, if even that. But I did have some fun with this one and just had to finish it. There's spiders, wizards, dragons, and even a sword in the pedestal that can't be pulled out. Till you get a ring. This game isn't all that hard, but it was fun to play for that little while. Not the greatest point-and-click game out there, but it's good enough to barely edge itself onto our list for this week. Number 9, Experiment Command. Yes. This game takes me back to all those old computer games that were before my time. This game is about controlling a character, but the only way to do so is to type in some type of command, such as examine room, open door, use ladder, and whatever else. There's not much of a story in the game. It's short, and all the rooms look way too similar. Because of that, it's low on our list. Number 8 is Village of Nightmares. Yeah, it's another zombie game. Well, it's not just another zombie game. This one doesn't involve you running around and gunning against zombies, so that's gotta be something, right? Well, there is an element of shooting zombies at night, but the main point of the game is materials during the day and to build new buildings so that you can survive the nights against the zombie horde. It's a nice little survival game. It's not the best, but it's good enough to be on our list. Number 7 for this week is Bobble Stitch. Being able to tell you what type of genre of game this fits into? Well, that would be kind of hard. In the first 4 levels, it switches between a find the hidden object game, to spot the difference, to building a toy, back to finding a hidden object. I can only imagine that maybe there's a section where you have to cook at one point. Anyways, while the individual gameplay elements in this aren't exactly ones that I like to play, them switching from one to another helps to hold off the annoyance of having a game centered around just one of those genres, and that's the reason it gets on our list. Number 6, Reactants. Now, these space shooters have never exactly been my favorite type of games out there. Mainly as I have a tendency of sucking at these games a lot. This one is no different, but I can still have fun with it. This game isn't too complex. All you gotta do is mainly survive till the end of the stage, and shooting the enemies are optional. Unless there's a boss. Granted, shooting said enemies to destroy them equals points, which go towards upgrading your ships. Also, as you can repeat levels over and over and over again, that means you can grind those points to completely obliterate the next stage. Or just be able to even pass the next stage, like me. But on another note, the music sounds familiar. Oh yeah, that game. We're halfway through the list, and that means it's time for our classic browser game of the week pick. And our pick for this week is Achievement Unlocked. Achievements help the world go round. Who would have known that the drive to get every achievement in a game would cause people to go crazy and try to get every single little achievement that are in a game, including going out and buying crappy games just to get achievements. Okay, maybe everyone out there doesn't do that. In fact, I think a majority of the people out there don't, but this game caught upon that craze. There's achievements for dying in this game several times, achievements for staying alive for a certain time. There's even an achievement for standing still for long enough. I'm not the biggest person on achievements, but I always want to get all the achievements in this game. I really don't know why. Likely you'll feel the same way too. Also, there's a sequel which is just as addicting. Back to our list, starting at number 5 is Epic Defender. Now, I wasn't expecting to really like this game, but I did a lot. The premise is simple. shoot anything that is coming at you. This includes soldiers, copters, stealth bombers, and even aliens. The game isn't too hard, but it is quite fun to play. Plus, there's a slight RPG element to it, but it's less about you adding stats when you get a level up, and more about when you level up, you'll get healed and just might get a new gun and be able to shoot faster or something. By the end, you'll be swarmed by tons of enemies right before you die. Number 4, Polygon G-Men. It's a puzzle game. And like all good puzzle-related games, there's gotta be keys that open doors. Okay, that's not true, but this is a fun little puzzle game. You control a G-Man who must figure out a way to get both the key in the level and to the door that it goes to. Often this can be easier said than done, like nearly all puzzle games out there. You'll need to use a laser that allows you to trade places with green blocks, but not blue blocks as it goes through those. Oh, and sometimes those green blocks are connected together, so you better make sure there's enough room for them to be moved, or else. Well, nothing happens besides it tells you it won't work. Also, if you speak only English, some of the instructions aren't gonna help you out because, well, they're not in English. But still, you'll be able to understand what is supposed to be happening. Hopefully. Number 3, Energy Physics. I'm not the biggest person into these little puzzle games, but when you get to fry people with electricity and you can summon Superman on a level, who cannot love it? Besides, who hates all puzzle games with a passion? Except for that one person. Your goal is simple enough. Kill all the people in black and make sure your good friend stays alive by the end of the level. The way you kill these people vary between levels, but more often than not, their death will come by electricity. Guide metal bars to other metal bars so that electricity has a path to follow and, well, thus frying anyone that touches it. Then there's the times that you gotta use a bomb to project a generator at some guy on the other side of the map. Number 2, Metazoa? It's less of a game, it's more of a toy in fact. Well, that's what the creator calls it, and I sort of agree with that assessment. You start off with the seed, and you'll be prompted with 2 different routes. What makes this interesting is both the graphical style and the outcomes that happen. These outcomes can, at times, be quite weird, random, and funny, as well as possibly making you say, "Did that just happen?" It isn't much, but it will likely keep your attention and make you want to see all of the outcomes that there are to get. In this week's number 1 browser game of the week is Pestilence Z. Oh my god, a zombie game is this week's number 1, and this is coming from a person that thinks there are way too many zombie games out there. Has the zombie apocalypse finally come? No. Just this game isn't the usual run and gun, dual stick shooter zombie game I'm used to. Or maybe it's because it's a strategy turn-based RPG and I sort of have a soft spot for them? Anyways, as I just said, this game is a turn-based strategy RPG, similar in a way to Fire Emblem. At the beginning of the game, you can choose from 3 people to play as: a vet, a jock, or some hot nurse. And each of them have their own unique stats. Well, from there, it's game time. Kill all zombies you see for experience. Search for new weapons, items, medkits, ammo, and info. If you have a weapon or piece of equipment that isn't good, throw it away and get some experience from it so that you can level up your character. And if you're good enough, maybe you can survive through the zombie apocalypse. Maybe. And that's all for this week's Browser Games of the Week list. Now, if you don't know, each and every week we have 2 sets of video series we put up. Our Browser Games of the Week series, which you just saw, is up on every Sunday because we're back on schedule now. And also on Wednesdays we have our Gamer Station Indie Game News, which is where we tell you about some of the recent news in the previous week involving the indie game world. So subscribe to us to be up to date on those videos and anything else that we may be doing in between them, such as reviews, previews, contests, giveaways, whatever.